Imagine a love so vast that it transcends body, language, and even time. A love that burns not only for another soul but for the divine itself. A love that shatters the ego, dissolves the self, and leads to ecstatic union with the beloved. This is not the love of fairy tales or fleeting romance. This is the love of Jalal al-Din Rumi, the 13th century Persian mystic and poet whose verses continue to illuminate hearts across centuries and continents. Rumi didn't just write about love, he lived it, danced with it, and became one with it. His poetry is soaked in the language of yearning, surrender, and spiritual intoxication. But how did he portray this love? What metaphors did he use to capture something so boundless, so abstract? And how does Rumi bridge the gap between human and divine love, turning earthly passion into a doorway to the sacred? Let's delve deep into the symbolic world of Rumi's poetry, where the beloved is not always a person, the wine is not always wine, and the pain of separation is, paradoxically, the very path to union. If you're new here, welcome to the Unfolding Journey, where we dive into spiritual wisdom, mystical poetry, and timeless teachings from across the world. Whether you're a longtime lover of Rumi or just beginning your journey into Sufi thought, you're in the right place. Let's open the pages of poetic mysticism together and uncover the layers of truth hidden in metaphor. Before exploring Rumi's metaphors and symbols, it's essential to understand what love meant to him. For Rumi, love was the fundamental force of the universe. It was both the origin and the destination. While many of his poems speak of a beloved, the deeper reading reveals that this beloved often represents God or the divine presence. But Rumi didn't deny the power of human love. In fact, he saw human love as a reflection or a shadow of divine love, a mirror through which we can catch a glimpse of something higher. His own spiritual transformation began through an intensely human relationship with the mystic Shams of Tabriz. Their bond ignited a spiritual fire in Rumi that transformed him from a respected theologian into a whirling poet of divine ecstasy. So, when we encounter a poem where Rumi speaks longingly of the beloved, or mourns separation, or celebrates union, we must always ask, is this a lover he speaks to, or the divine? Often the answer is both. In Rumi's poetry, the beloved is the central symbol. On the surface, the beloved may appear as a human figure, beautiful, elusive, and captivating. But beneath that surface, the beloved represents God, the eternal source of love and beauty. Take this famous verse. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing. How blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. Here, Rumi moves from a romantic ideal of love, finding your soulmate, to a realization that the beloved was never separate to begin with. The beloved is within, not without. This beloved is a symbol of the divine essence residing within every soul. Sometimes, the beloved is cruel or distant in his poems. But this is not because Rumi portrays God as unkind. It's because the soul's journey toward God includes longing, waiting, and pain. The distance is part of the process. Another powerful symbol in Rumi's work is wine. But this is no ordinary drink. In Islamic culture, especially within Sufism, wine is a frequent metaphor for the overwhelming bliss and ecstasy of divine love. In his verses, Rumi often speaks of being drunk, of wine being poured, of taverns and intoxication. At first glance, these may seem like references to earthly pleasures, but they are far more profound. Consider, I have drunk the wine of love, and now I am intoxicated, not with the wine of grapes, but with the wine of the beloved's presence. Here, wine symbolizes the state of spiritual ecstasy that overtakes the seeker when they feel close to the divine. Intoxication is not a loss of control in the worldly sense. It's the loss of ego, of selfhood, of the illusion of separation. It's a merging with the one. In Rumi's world, love is fire, and the lover must be willing to burn. This burning is both symbolic and transformational. To burn in love is to let go of ego, pride, attachment, everything that stands between the soul and its source. He writes, "Love is the flame which, when it blazes, consumes everything other than the beloved." Here, fire is the symbol of purification. Just as gold is purified in fire, the human soul is refined through the fire of longing. The pain of separation is not a punishment. It is the very means by which the soul is prepared for reunion. This burning is not tragic. In fact, Rumi celebrates it. The fire is holy. It is what brings the lover closer to the beloved. And it's often in that burning that divine love is most deeply felt. One of Rumi's most haunting metaphors is the reed flute, which appears in the very first lines of his masterwork, the Masnavi. Listen to the reed and the tale it tells, how it sings of separation. The reed, cut from the reed bed and made into a flute, symbolizes the human soul, which has been separated from its divine origin. The music of the flute, its song of longing, is the poetry of the soul, always yearning to return to its source. This metaphor carries profound meaning. Just as the flute can only make music when it is empty, the soul can only sing the song of divine love when it is emptied of ego. And just as the flute's song speaks of its longing, so does the heart cry out when it remembers its true home. Another vivid symbol of divine love in Rumi's legacy is the dance, especially the whirling of the dervishes. The Mevlevi order, founded by Rumi's followers, developed the ritual of Sima, a sacred dance symbolizing the soul's journey toward God. The whirling is not just physical, it represents spiritual motion, the turning of the heart toward the center, toward the beloved. As the dervish spins, one hand reaches up to the heavens, the other points to the earth, symbolizing being a conduit for divine grace. This sacred dance is Rumi's living metaphor of surrender, ecstasy, and union. It embodies the central truth of his poetry, that divine love is not static. It is a movement, a flow, a turning. In many traditions, love is a feeling, a fleeting emotion. But for Rumi, love is the path itself, the journey and the destination. He writes, "Love is the bridge between you and everything." This simple line carries immense symbolic power. Love is not just something we feel. It is the very medium through which we experience the divine, others, and even our own soul. It is what connects us, heals us, and ultimately transforms us. In Rumi's world, there is no higher reality than love. To love truly is to see the divine in all things. Every metaphor he uses, from wine to fire, from the reed to the dance, is in service of this sacred vision. Rumi's metaphors are not just literary flourishes. They are spiritual tools, designed to awaken the reader's own longing, to draw the soul out of slumber and into remembrance. He doesn't speak from theory, he speaks from transformation. His love for Shams awakened in him a deeper love for God, and his poetry invites us into that same journey, from human attachment to divine union. The beloved may look like another person. The wine may seem like earthly pleasure. The fire may feel like heartbreak. But for Rumi, all of it is pointing to one truth. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Love, in its deepest form, is the flight home. And Rumi's poetry is the wind beneath those wings. If this journey through Rumi's symbolic world of love has touched your heart or stirred your soul, I invite you to continue walking this path with us. Subscribe to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel for more explorations into mystical poetry, spiritual wisdom, and timeless truths from sages across the world. Don't forget to like the video and share it with fellow seekers. Until next time, may the flame of love guide your path, and may you never forget, the beloved is already within you.